Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Rodriguez, for
will the gentleman yield for a few
Mr.
questions?
Frank, do you yield the question?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, so my question is referring to the amendment that you had dealing with that gave some direction on referrals for providers who wish to deny certain services. So I'm going to just ask the questions, because one of my concerns is about a foster child's access to services and how that might conflict with the provider's protected right to facilitate or refer a person for services that may conflict with their sincerely held religious beliefs. So what do providers have to do? What do they have to do if they refuse to provide certain services?
Okay.
What is on the provider?
On the provider is to refer services. We keep going back to the child, and we're kind of mixing, we're mixing, I guess, our examples, or the examples. If you have already placed with the child, then CPS has decided that this home is an appropriate place for him. Okay? CPS has made that decision, or the SSCC, but the government, if you will, has made the decision that that is the right place for that child. The more homes we have of all types, the easier all of this goes, right? That we place that 16-year-old girl with the right home, which means we need all types of homes. We don't need just one type.
I get that.
But what's on the referral, and again, we put one referral amendment. I asked for feedback. We gave 3 different options. But what's on the provider is to say, I can't do this, I won't do this, but here's a list, here's the website, here's CPS's number.
So the provider with your amendment,
that's what's on the provider.
so your provider with that
The provider
amendment,
doesn't have to drive them to the other provider.
say that last part again, I'm sorry.
The provider doesn't have to drive them or make a great deal of effort to get them to the other provider. They can say, hopefully very respectfully, we don't provide this service because of our belief that that's not something we should do.
But they are required then to try to facilitate that in some way, shape, or form, correct?
Yes, as outlined in the amendment.
So another scenario, what if a foster family refuses to provide a service to their foster child because it conflicts with their religious beliefs? What is the step for the family? What is on the family? We talked about the provider, right? We talked about whatever that entity may be. Now we're talking about the family. We're talking about, whoever that might be and their foster kid. What's on them if they refuse to provide certain services?
Again, a lot of this is important in the matching process. Consider it, maybe flip it around the other way. Let's say you have somebody who doesn't want to go to church, who doesn't have any religious affiliation, who's an atheist. You take a child out of maybe an Orthodox Christian home, and then does this family need to report that I'm not going to take my child to church? Those discussions take place all the time. The more families we have of a diverse background, the better.
Well, that's a great scenario there.
And so
again, we agree on the more families, the better. We totally agree on that. I think everyone behind me would agree on that too. So let's just say that I have a child that wants to go to church or synagogue or a mosque or whatever, but the family doesn't want to for whatever reason. What is the obligation of the family then? Are they not required to drive, to take the kid to church, or what is that?
Well,
how does that look?
And I don't know, and I would guess that it is going to manifest itself in vastly different places across the state. But that's where the matching is so important, that we try to do as good a job on the front end, because at the end of the day, just because a child says I want to do something, it doesn't necessarily mean the family has to do it all. Right. But the family also is supposed to try to make reasonable accommodations for that family. And that's where there's a discussion between the foster family and CPS on the front end and during the process when the child makes requests.
Right. And I understand. I don't expect you to be able to answer every single
that exists
scenario.
today. I'm sorry.
I don't expect you to be able to answer every single scenario, but I think in that same scenario, let's say, is the foster family, are they required, based on your amendment and everything else in the bill, are they required to find transportation then for that child to be able to go to church or synagogue or mosque or whatever? Is that part, do you read the bill to say that the foster
all of this is in existence today. CPS is already working that out today. They really are. I mean, this stuff happens in the real world every day. And I'm not 100% sure how it's happening there.